You are welcome to this live presentation. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. This is a live presentation from Donish Hub Educational Limited, and today we want to immigrate to Canada using a UNBC, that is University of Northern British Columbia. And we talk about the admission process, we talk about the immigration, we talk about tuition, we talk about all the scholarships that are involved and everything that you have to do. And we have as our guest today, Ayotola Ibitayo. Yeah, that's the name. I can pronounce it rightly. She is the student representative of Africa with the UNBC, and she'll be the one that will take charge of today's presentation. But before we do that, I want to take you through what we have been doing in Donish Hub. Just 5 minutes, then we hand over the floor to our guest. First of all, Donish Hub, we started in 2015, and since then, we've been helping people to build brighter future through education. We are educational consultancy firm. We are based in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria, although we have some alliance in other states, like a sub-office in other states, but our main office is in Port Harcourt. Our goal is to assist students in search for programs designed to meet their individual needs and also ensure that they graduate with outstanding record. We don't only give you admission or placement, we follow up with you. It's like a family program. We build a relationship with you and make sure that you graduate with outstanding record. Whatever is the problem, you discuss with us, and of course, you see our services which are tailored towards ensuring that you are successful. Our services, we teach and we coach. We help in writing thesis, coursework, and proofreading, editing. We also deliver online programs for some of our partners. We have a partner in Costa Rica and one in US that we deliver their online and distance learning program on their behalf. We are representative and agent to universities across the world, in Canada, in UK, in Australia, in Cyprus, and the rest. Like now, we have UNBC here, that is the University of North British Columbia, which we are also representative to. So that has been our activities. And these are some of our partners. We will not be able to list we have maybe over 100, and we will not be able to list them here. So we have a separate page on our website for our partners, so you can go to our website, www.donishhub.com.ng, and you see /our partners, you see a whole list of our partners. This is our contact. I've mentioned the website already, and we have admission@donishhub.com.ng as our email address, and our telephone number is +234 817 9730 282. And of course, we are also on WhatsApp with this number, so you can easily communicate with us on WhatsApp. Thank you. And we hand over the floor to our guest for today. And she will take over. Thank you. And madam, you are welcome on board. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for having me here today.
Oh, sorry, please.
My name is Ayotola Luwande. And okay.
Before you go on, please, if you have any question, please, you can type them, send to us, We will respond to all your questions at the end of this presentation. At the end of our presentation, we'll respond to your question. Thank you. Please, madam, go on.
Okay, thank you so much. Like I said earlier, my name is Ayotola Luande, and I'm the International Recruitment Officer for University of Northern British Columbia in British Columbia, Canada. So basically, this session today, thank you all. Good afternoon, good day. Thank you all for joining today's session. And this session will be divided into like two phases because we have learning about immigrating to Canada and we also have learning about UNBC as a whole. So let me first talk about learning about immigrating to Canada, but with the focus on study. There are several pathways and several means to immigrate to Canada, but one of the fastest, surest, and most efficient way to relocate to Canada now is through the study route. I said fastest because other than other pathways which can take a long process and what have you and different documentation that is required, studying in Canada is one of the most efficient and effective ways if you want to relocate to Canada like ASAP. Like for instance, if you want to go to Canada in January 2024, it's possible. You can work towards it if you choose to study in Canada. So why do people consider studying in Canada? Let's talk about the immigration pathway firstly. So for if you as a student in Canada, if you study at a DLI, you are eligible for up to 3 years postgraduate work permit. So after your postgraduate work permit, you are eligible to also apply to become a permanent resident while observing your PGWP. So if you're looking to immigrate, become a permanent resident of Canada, the study route is one of the best. As long as you study at a DLI, so DLI means Designated Learning Institute, and the school you are going to study as well is eligible for postgraduate work permit, you are good to go. You're eligible for at least at most 3 years. So if you study for like 8 months to 1 year programs, you'll be getting a 1 year postgraduate work permit. And if you study a 2 year program and more, you'll be eligible for 3 years postgraduate work permit. And during that time, you can also apply to become a permanent resident. So if you are looking to immigrate after, some people that are peculiar about immigrating to Canada afterwards, the study route is one of the surest route for you to consider. Apart from that, Canadian education is actually like let's forget put the immigrating aspect aside. Canadian education is one of the best, as rated one of the best in the whole world. And if you're looking for affordability as well, you're looking at quality education, you're looking at affordability, you're also having like if you compare it to like the big four, I usually call like US, UK, Canada, and Australia the big four countries. If you're comparing the cost and the living expenses in each of these countries, you find that Canada is actually one of the most affordables of this country to study. So if you want affordability, you want quality at the same time, you should consider studying in Canada. Aside from that, we have a lot of questions about work and study. Can I work while I'm studying? Yes, as an international student, you're eligible to work while studying. I will talk about two things. I'll first talk about the co-op option. So there's an option for students if the course has it. It's not all courses or programs that have it. But if you go for a course that has the co-op option, you're eligible to get both a study permit and a work permit because work is an integral part of your study. So as a student, you can work paid work experience while studying. So you're learning while studying. You're working, you're putting what you're learning into work while studying. So if you're going for a program that has a co-op option, you'll be eligible to get a work permit and work while studying. But aside from the co-op, students that study full-time in Canada are eligible to work during term time for 20 hours. So during term times, 20 hours per week during term time. So you're eligible to work for 20 hours per week and during the holidays you can work full time. So you can work while studying. For students that have the questions that can I work while studying? Yes, you're eligible to work for at least 20, at most during term time, um 20 hours. Then during your holidays you can work full time while studying. Another popular questions that a lot of people ask, especially for the families, people that have families that are married, can I go with my family to Canada if I'm going to study? Yes, you can go with your family. And even the Canadian government has they are putting a lot of things in place to enable families to reunite at a shorter period of time. So right now, the processing time for families to join probably their family that is studying in Canada has been reduced drastically. You have people getting approvals for their open work permits within a month or a little more than that. So it's very, very possible for you to apply with your family if you want, as long as you meet the financial requirements. It's a different ballgame entirely. If you meet the financial requirements to apply with your family at the same time, so your wife or you have your husband and you want to study, and your wife wants to come with you, you meet the financial requirements to do it, and the rest of your family wants to come. Of course, you can apply, but if you don't, of course, even if you want to go later, you need to meet the financial requirement, of course. But my own personal advice is personal, it's not an immigration or legal advice. I usually encourage students to, okay, focus on your own application first. You're the one that wants to study, do your application, get to Canada. Once you have your letter of enrollment, your study permit, you are very welcome to invite your family over to come. So it's, like I said, it's personal. It's not an immigration or legal advice. You can take it, you might not take it, but that's what I would personally recommend. The student should focus on his application first, is our application first, then get your visas, get your study permits, get your letter of enrollment, then invite your family. And like I said earlier, the processing time for this open work permits have reduced drastically, so you have nothing to worry about when it comes to that. Then another thing is, a lot of people, why they're always scared and running away from applying to Canada or what have you, is because of the processing time and the high rate of refusal. I'm happy to tell you that the processing time is a lot better now. At least before, let's say 2021 and early 2022, the processing time used to be as long as sometimes 5 months, 6 months. You have a lot of people complain about the fact that the applications take a long time. But right now, recent applications with like a high number of statistics of data of people that have applied recently have been getting the approvals in within a month. Some people get it in a month, in 2 months. The highest I would see is about 3 months. So, but like I've seen a lot that happened within 1 month. People getting their approvals in weeks, even. So the processing time is a whole lot better now, and you'll be able to get your approvals within a short period of time. Um, Aside from that, um, people also talk about the refusal rates. Also, the acceptance rate has actually gone a whole, like, has gone up a lot compared to like previous years, like in 2021. In 2022, the acceptance rate for Nigerians even came up a whole lot. You have a lot, as long as you meet the requirements of course, financially, your purpose of study is well stated, you see that you get your visa, like as long as you meet the requirements that are needed. So I'm here to tell you that you don't need to be scared that, would I get my visa? Would I not get my visa? I'm scared. It's take time. The approval rate has gone up, and that's why Donation Shop is here to help you. They are professionals in their field. They'll be able to help you with your visa processing as well. So I advise that you take their help when you're filling your visa application. They're able to guide you on the required documentation and everything that you need to submit your visa application. But do not fear. This is the right time. This is the best time to consider studying in Canada, be it in 2024 or be it in September this year. Whatever your plan is, just start making the plans now towards studying in Canada. So I think that's all about studying in Canada. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take questions about whatever your question might be. Like I said, drop it in the comment section. Once I'm done with the presentation as a whole, if you can't answer them, I would answer your questions. You tell me your questions, and I'm happy to take your question and to answer them after the session. So now we're going into UNBC. University of Northern British Columbia. Like I said, we're located in British Columbia. I'm sure most of you will know BC. BC is British Columbia is one of the 10 provinces in Canada. Popular provinces that I'm sure most of you know: Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, which other one? Alberta. Okay. Can you hear me, sir? Okay.
Hello,
Yeah, I
can
can
you
hear
hear me?
you. Yes, I can. Can you hear me now? What's going on? How about now? Can you hear me now?
Started very fine.
Okay. Do you want me to join leave and join again? Do I leave and join again? Let me drop that as a chat. Do I leave and join again? Okay, can you hear me now?
Hello.
Okay, how about now? Can you hear me now, sir?
I think go on.
Okay, okay. So, like I was saying, University of Northern British Columbia is in
I don't
Prince
know if
George.
it's I don't know if it's from my end.
Okay, let me drop you a chat. I think it's from your end. Okay, so like I said, let me just share my own screen so that I can well, let me go on. University of Northern British Columbia is in Prince George in BC. Like I said, British Columbia is one of the 10 provinces in Canada. I'm sure the popular ones that you know of are Manitoba, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario. So BC is one of the popular provinces in Canada. And I'm sure when you hear BC, the first thing that comes to your mind is Vancouver. Yes, Vancouver is the biggest city in British Columbia, though it's not the capital. Victoria is the capital, but Vancouver is one of the biggest cities in British Columbia. But we are not based in Vancouver. We are in Prince George, which is in the northern side, just like the name of our university implies. University of Northern British Columbia. So it's in the northern side of British Columbia. We are like the biggest city in the northern British Columbia. So let me talk a bit about Prince George. So, like I said, Prince George may not be as big a city as might not be as big a city as Vancouver or Toronto or which other city that you might know of, but we in our own right have every basic thing that every student or everyone is looking at, like having access to. So like it's not a big city like Vancouver, but recreational centers, any activity that you want, shopping malls, restaurants. And another pro to us is we are surrounded by nature, so there are a lot of nature activities for students to do. We have a our transport system is very active. So if you're looking at, oh, would there be an active transport system? Yes, we have that. We have our own international airport as well. So in terms of opportunities, job opportunities, it's available in Prince George. In terms of like every basic thing you need in a city, it's also available in Prince George. But what is like the best side, what makes us more unique than every other place that you're looking at, is the fact that we are actually um we are very affordable to live in. So if I'm comparing the living costs in Prince George to that of Vancouver, for instance, it's very affordable to live in Prince George. I'm going to use like a statistics of our accommodation, for instance. So if you're looking at staying in Prince George in like a one bedroom apartment for a whole year in Prince George, it's cost an average of 9,000 Canadian dollars. You can see lesser, you can see a bit higher, but the average cost for a one bedroom for one full year in Prince George is about 9,000 Canadian dollars. And if you are comparing this cost to Vancouver, I'm using Vancouver because it's the biggest city in BC, you'll be paying for the same type of apartment, the same structure, everything, you'll be paying about 19,000 plus. So if you're looking at for affordability, Prince George should be like the top of your list. Yeah, UNBC, then Prince George should be the top of your list in terms of studying in Canada. Then our weather, we have a lot of people ask about our weather as well. What's the weather like in what's the weather like in Prince George? What's the weather like? So BC generally has very good weather. The weather in BC is very good. But Prince George, we have an average. I'll talk about the winter period because I think that's like people's bone of contention and the things the weather they want to know more about. So our winter season can be quite cold, but as an international student, that you've prepared your mind to go to Canada, you already know that the weather is cold in Canada. You won't be so shocked about like it's not as bad as some other provinces. So you won't be shocked about the weather. Average winter weather with us is -8 degrees Celsius, which is not as bad as some provinces that have a record of -30 and thereabout. And what makes like the winter very unbearable for some people is that some places might be quite windy and it makes the cold so much. It isn't as bad as like as usual in Prince George. Our weather is fairly good. Another good part of our weather is the fact that we have 299 out of 365 days of sunshine. So in a year, we have the sun pop out in Prince George 299 days in a year. So our weather is actually one of our selling points as well. So we have very good weather. Then I'll talk about rankings as well. So I don't know if you can slide to the
Another
slide that
good
has
part
the
of our weather
ranking.
is that we have 299 out of
So just
365 days of
move the
sunshine.
slide to the one
In a
that
year, we have the sun pop out in the church 299 days in a year. So our weather is actually
so yeah, keep going. The slide of the
selling points as well.
rankings.
So we have
But
very good weather. Then I'll talk about rankings as well. So I don't know if you can slide to the another slide that has part of our weather is that we have 299 out of 365 days.
Move the slide to the one that
Have the sun come out 299 days in a year. So our weather is actually
okay. Yes, thank you. There was feedback before. I was waiting for you to mute the mic. No, that's fine. Please go back to the previous slide. Yes. So in terms of academic excellence, we're young, pretty young university. We're established in the year 1990, so we're just about 32 years or thereabouts. And irrespective of that, we are still topping charts both globally and in Canada. We're one of the best top young universities in Canada. So in the world, we've been ranked the top 250 young universities globally, and only three young universities in Canada have that ranking, and we're like the number one of them. Aside from that, we are one of the top 5%, like in terms of quality education, in terms of every like the research and selling points. We're one of the top 5% of universities globally. So if you're a student, you're looking for affordability, you're looking for a good location, you're also looking for a high ranking university, you should consider studying at UNBC. We're also very research focused. We have a lot of research going on at UNBC, and because of that, we're one of the top 50 research universities in Canada. And Maclean's magazines have also honored us with number one for our undergraduate programs, and we've had that ranking for like 6 years straight. So, regardless of the fact that we're a young university, but aside from the fact that we're a young university, we're not a very
You're
big
a student,
university.
you're looking for
So,
affordability,
so
you're
there's
looking for a
feedback.
good
I don't know
location, you're
what's
also looking
going
for a
on.
high ranking university, you should consider studying at UNBC. We're also very research focused. We have a lot of research going on at UNBC, and because of that, we're one of the top 50 research universities in Canada. And Maclean's magazines have also honored us with number one for our undergraduate programs, and we've had that ranking for like 6 years straight. So, regardless of the fact that we're a young university, but aside from the fact that we're a young university, we're not a very you're a student, you're looking for affordability. So, there's feedback.
So there's a certain feedback I'm getting. I think I'm hearing myself. So can you mute that particular system? Hello, sir. Okay, I think I'll just go. I think it's better. So we have, so in terms of, I've talked about the rankings and everything that we offer. I'll go straight to the programs that we offer, which is like the main and the most important part of the live session. We have about 60 undergraduate programs. I'm getting feedback. Can we work on that? I'm getting feedback. I think it's better now. So we have 60 undergraduate programs, 24 master's degree programs, and 3 PhD programs. So can you move to that slide that shows our programs? So we have 60 undergraduate programs. We have 24 of them come with honors. We have 24 master's degree programs and 3 PhD programs. So, Saps, can you move to the slide that shows our programs? So, I'm going to start with the undergraduate programs. For undergraduate programs, like I said, we have 60 of them, and they are divided into two. We have the general entry, and we have the competitive entry. General entry and competitive entry. So the general entry, with the basic requirements, you're able to get offer to study any of our general entry programs. But I'm going to start with the competitive entry because that contains a lot of important information for you to learn from. So can you move to the slide that shows the programs? So for the general entry programs, we have our Bachelor of Health Science. So the competitive entry rather, we have our Bachelor of Health Sciences, we have our Bachelor of Social Works, we have our Bachelor of Applied Sciences, and we also have education. I think, am I missing it? Bachelor of Health Sciences. Okay, nursing is the fifth. So we have 5 in the competitive entry programs. Please move to the competitive entry. So we have Bachelor of Social Works, we have nursing, we have applied science, Bachelor of Applied Science, Bachelor of Health Sciences, and education. So I'm going to talk about, it's competitive. These are courses that you have to have good grades to get offers. But I'm going to first talk about the ones that require a post-secondary education. So if you want to study our education, our Bachelor of Education, our Bachelor of Nursing, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and our Bachelor of Social Works, these are courses that you will be required to have post-secondary diploma, at least a post-secondary diploma. You can't come from your WAEC or your grade 12, you have A levels, AS levels, IG, SCE, CSE, or WAEC or NECO. You can't come from grade 12 and apply for these courses. So these courses are namely nursing, social works, and education. You need at least a diploma. So for instance, someone that wants to go for the Bachelor of Education and has an NCE, yes, you can apply. Or you have an ND in education, you can apply for this program. Or someone that wants to go for nursing probably has a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry already, or has a nursing certificate that you've done or something. You have a post-secondary education experience, you can apply for our nursing, social works, and education program. But for our Bachelor of Health Science and Bachelor of Applied Science, which is applied science, basically our engineering programs, and we have like civil engineering and environmental engineering. And our Bachelor of Health Sciences, we have biomedical studies, community and population health, and we also have environmental health as well. So for these courses, you can go with your grade 12. So you can apply with your A levels, AS levels, WAEC or NECO. But the key thing is this is these are programs that you have to have good grades. And another thing about it is, unlike our general entry programs, they don't have multiple intakes in a year. We only have September intake in for this program. September intake, for instance, September 2023 and next year, September 2024. So no multiple intakes for these programs, and it's highly competitive as well. So you have to have good grades to meet up. So you can go with your grade 12, but you have to have good grades. But so can we go back to the general entry? Can we move the slide back to general entry? So for general entry programs, our minimum requirement for Nigerian students, for instance, is a minimum of D7 in English and any other required subject that you need. And we have several programs for you to take advantage of. Sir, can you move the slide so they can see the programs that we have to the general entry slide? Can you move to the general entry slide? So for general entry programs, for instance, in our Bachelor of Commerce, we have international business, human resource management, marketing, finance, accounting. For arts, we have economics, English, political science, environmental studies, public administration. For sciences, we have mathematics, computer science, biology. There are a whole lot of programs that are general entry programs, and the minimum requirement, we accept NECO, we accept WAEC, and you have to have a minimum of D7 in English and at least any other subject that is required for your course. So let me say, I say that because each course has like a separate requirement. Let me use computer science, for instance. Our requirement for computer science will be pre-calculus, and most of the business courses as well, pre-calculus, which is mathematics, basically mathematics when that you've done already in your WAEC or your NECO. So you have to have a good grade in those subjects to be qualified for the admission. So minimum of D7 would fly for our general entry programs, but it won't work for our competitive. It's competitive. You have to have A's and B's for that. So that's all about our general entry programs. We have multiple intakes for the general entry. We have September, we have January, and some of these courses also have May intake. So January. So September is closed for this year. We closed like 3 days ago. So if you're interested in September intake, that's off. But if you're an undergraduate student and want to study in January, we are still accepting applications up until October this year. So we're accepting applications and they will be closing in October. So, and we also have May intake for some of these courses as well. So that's all. We can move to the graduate program slide, sir. So for the graduate programs, it's also our graduate programs are very competitive as well, and we have two types. We have the course-based and we have the thesis-based. So for the course-based means like you're not required to get a supervisor. You see a course you're interested in, meet the minimum requirements. Our minimum requirements for Nigerian applicants is a second-class upper division. So you need to have like a second-class upper division at least to be able to apply for our graduate entry programs. And like I said earlier, meet the minimum requirements, apply, then you're good to go. But for our thesis-based programs, these are research-based programs, and it means that you need to get a supervisor to say, oh, I'm going to supervise you. I'm happy to supervise your thesis. Once you have approval from the supervisor, that is when you can put in your application. So prior to submitting your application, if you don't get a supervisor, your application will be rejected. So you need to get a supervisor, say, I have agreed to supervise you. And there are tips and tricks on how to get a supervisor. What I advise you to do if you're interested in applying for our programs is you do what? Go to our website, unbc.car/finding a supervisor. We've put tips and tricks that you can take advantage of when searching for a supervisor. But you need to, what the tips that you need is go to the faculty directory, look at the lecturers, do your research on them before sending them a mail. Send them a mail that is very concise. It has every important information you need to pass across. Because if you just say, hello, please, can you supervise me? They are not going to respond to you, to be honest. You need to be concise. You need to gather your points and your facts straight. Show that you've done enough research about the supervisor as well before sending them a mail. Once you have approval from the supervisor, then you can put in your application. A tip to identify the ones that require supervisor. Most of our science programs require a supervisor. So our MSc Biology, MSc Computer Science, MSc Health Sciences, Natural Resource and Environmental Studies, no, social work doesn't require, nursing doesn't require, but most of the sciences programs would require you getting a supervisor. Then courses that would require the faculty of business usually doesn't require supervisor. So like our MBA, developmental economics, international studies, these are courses that you don't need to get supervisor. They are course-based programs. But we have detailed it also on our website. So you can also go to unbc.car go to graduate programs and identify the admission requirements. You'll be able to see each of the admission requirements for these programs. The section E per program. So click on your program of interest. You see if you're required to get a supervisor, and any other program specific entry requirement that you need is also on that website. So if you need to see details on our entry requirements, you need to check our website. unbc.car is the website to check, and you go to graduate programs and that. So that's it. I'll be talking about our tuition, our fees now. For our undergraduate programs, our average tuition for our undergraduate program is between 23,000 to 25,000 Canadian dollars per year for the undergraduate programs. That is for the undergraduate. I'm emphasizing undergraduate programs. So between 23 to 25,000, depending on the course you are going to study. So different courses have different costs. All the information, I'm just giving you the average tuition. But if you need an information on a specific course, you also need to check our website and the course you're interested in, and you get that information. Then for our graduate programs, the tuition is, so for like, let me start from basic graduate tuition. Our basic graduate tuition is actually 2,548.20 per semester. That might be confusing, but if you're looking at total tuition, we have 3 semesters in a year. So if you're looking at let me just talk in terms of 1 year tuition, it's actually less than 10,000 Canadian dollars in 1 full year. After considering, factoring other fees, student fees, faculty fees that are compulsory fees that you must pay, medical insurance, it's going to bring your tuition up to less than 10K in 1 year. So that's the basic graduate tuition. So like every master's degree program, aside the following that I will be mentioning. So MBA is different, social works is different, nursing is different, Masters of Engineering in Integrated Wood Design is also different. So, but basic tuition for most of the education is also different tuition for that. The details of the tuition is on the website, but basic graduate tuition, you want to do developmental economics, you want to do MSc Business Administration, international studies, those basic courses cost less than 10,000 Canadian dollars for 1 full year. So that is it about tuition. If you have like specific requests or stuff about tuition and entry requirements, you can drop your chat and I'll be happy to respond to them. Yes, we also charge application fee. Let me start by saying, how do you apply? If you want to submit your application, you're interested in applying now, I would recommend that you reach out to Donish Orb, and they will be able to help you with your application. They are one of our trusted partners. Reach out to them with your documents, talk to them, consult with them, and they'll be able to help you submit your application. Bear in mind that we charge application fees. So if you are looking at going for our undergraduate programs, we charge 125 Canadian dollars for our application fee. And if you're looking to go for our graduate programs, we charge 153 Canadian dollars for application fee. So you reach out to them, show them, put in your application to them, and you'll be able to get your offer. So the turnaround time is about 5 to 10 working days, which is about a week to 2 weeks for the undergraduate program. So you apply, we promise to give you your offer within 1 to 2 weeks for the undergraduate programs. But for the postgraduate students, it takes a longer period of time, depending on if your own is supervised, thesis based or course based. It can take as long as between 2 weeks to 2 months. So depending on your course. So once you submit your application, just be patient. You'll be able to get your offer between 2 to 8 weeks, depending on the kind of program that you've applied for. Yes. So in terms of scholarships, we have scholarships available as well. Let me start from the graduate students. I wouldn't want to talk much about it because it's an automatic scholarship, and if you didn't get it when you get your offer, you were not eligible for it. So it's basically for the research based people going for research. You might be eligible for up to 15,000 Canadian dollars of your tuition. So research based programs, you might be eligible for up to 15,000. The tuition is already pretty cheap and getting 15K, but it's an automatic scholarship. You apply once you apply for your admission and you are seeing that you're qualified for it, you'll be accessed for it. So there's no separate application. Nobody should say what's the tips and tricks. There's no tips, there's no tricks. Then for, for the undergraduate students, they have the early entrance scholarship. You submit your application. So you're looking at going for September 2024. You submit your application in before January 15th. You'll be eligible for up to 5,500 Canadian dollars. So you submit your application. You're looking at going for September 2024, and you submit your application before January 15th. You'll be accessed automatically for up to 5,500 of your tuition as well. So that's it about the scholarship options. I think I've covered the point. Can you move the slide to? Yes, we also have on-campus accommodation for people that are interested in knowing if we have on-campus accommodation. For our on-campus accommodation, it's like an apartment style. We have 4 bedrooms in one apartment, shared bedroom, shared living room, shared kitchen, all for students. And everybody has like, it's 4 bedroom. You have your individual room. And our accommodation is actually one of the cheapest I've seen as well. It's about 5,205 for 1 full year in Canada in tuition. So 5,205 for 1 full year while studying. And if you're comparing, so can you go to that slide that shows the accommodation cost? 5,205, comparing it to other schools, you'll be able to see how affordable our on-campus accommodation is. And if you want to stay off campus as well, I've also talked about how affordable like it is to get an accommodation in Prince George. So I feel like I've touched all the points, the major points. Just talk about the fact that 84% of people that study in UNBC are in good employment, like you get gainful employment within 6 months of graduation. So I'm sure that the crux and the main important reason why you want to study is to be able to get a good job. And we have a lot of our students that get gainful employment within 6 months of graduation. I think that's all. I'm happy to receive questions now. If you have any questions, please just send your questions and I'll attend to them before we end the session. So can you hear me? Are there any questions?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
We have 2 questions.
Are there any questions?
Yes, I've noted one from Facebook. I think one from LinkedIn equally. We have 2 questions here.
Okay, sir.
One is that directly, what is the process of?
Yeah.
We have 2 questions.
Are there any questions?
Yes, I've noted one from Facebook. I think one from LinkedIn equally. We have 2 questions here.
Okay, sir.
One is that directly, what is the process of? Okay.
Yeah.
What is the process?
We have 2 questions.
Okay, please, can you hear me? Maybe you note it down. The first question is, what is the process for applying for postgraduate work permit?
Okay.
The process of applying for postgraduate work permit.
Okay.
That is
so
the first question.
Okay, I've seen it. The other question, Uncle? What about the other question? Let me have the two questions so that I can address the two at the same time. Okay, yes, thanks. Thanks for the second question. Thank you for the second question, and I will address that first, and I'll also talk about the postgraduate work permit. So, for the for the tuition payment, I noted I didn't mention our tuition deposit. Thank you for that question. Our tuition deposit for UNBC after you received your offer is 1,500 Canadian dollars. So you've received your offer to study with us at UNBC. You are required to pay 1,500 Canadian dollars towards your tuition. So that's 1,500 you are paying applies towards your tuition to study with us. Then after that, you're going to be required to pay your fee. If you can pay your full tuition, awesome. But if you want to pay your tuition in installments, you'll be required to pay your fees per semester. So every semester you're enrolling for, you'll be required to pay your tuition. So if you paid 1,500, you balance the first semester fees, then you keep paying your fees per semester once you enroll. So you can pay in installments, but you pay per semester that you're enrolling for. Then the only exception to this 1,500 deposit is our MBA program. Our MBA program actually costs 2,000. It's like it's your deposit is 2,000 Canadian dollars. So if you're enrolling for our MBA program, it's 2,000 Canadian dollars initial deposit. And talking about, I also thank you for this question. I forgot to talk about the openings for the graduate programs. When is the next opening? Currently, most of the graduate programs are closed for both September 2023 and January 2024 intake. Most of our programs, our graduate programs, the only exception, the only one that is open currently for January 2024 is our nursing, our Masters of Science in Nursing. And this is actually for registered nurses. You have a BSc in nursing and you're a registered nurse. That's the only people, those are the only people, because I will see people that will say, can I have biochemistry, can I go for MSc in nursing? No, it's for registered nurses and people that have bachelor's degree in nursing. So it's still open and it will be open up until August. But if you're looking at studying our graduate program, sorry to tell you that we are closed for winter intake, which is January 2024. But we'll be opening for September. We'll be opening applications for September 2024. We'll be opening applications in October. The only one that is going to open earlier is our MBA program, which will be opening in September. Our MBA has an earlier resumption. So other courses will start in September, but MBA will start in August. So we're opening applications for MBA in September this year, but every other one will open on the 1st of October. I recommend that you submit your application. Once it opens, just start putting in your applications because we close early. Depends on the once we have like a full class, we can close earlier, but most application will close as early as January 2024 for September 2024. So it's recommended that you submit your applications before. Once it opens, submit it. You see some of them have late intakes till March, but it's recommended that you submit your application before. In fact, some of them close as early as December. So once it opens in October, you can put in your application. And like I said, you enlist the help of Donish Hub. They'll be able to help you with your application. I have HND in mechanical engineering. Is mechanic okay? So number one, we don't have mechanical engineering for our master. We have Masters of Science in applied engineering, but we don't have mechanical engineering specifically, and we don't accept HND actually. Our minimum requirement is Bachelor's of Science degree. So maybe someone that has HND might want to do our bachelor. It's your choice. I'm not going to push it on you, but you could do a bachelor's degree. We have something called transfer credits, where you've done some credits already. You'll be waived of some of your credits as well. So you're not going to do like all the courses that you're meant to do in the bachelor's degree. Some of them will wait for you. So you can check our website for more information about that. But yes, for masters, we don't accept HND for our master's degree programs. So I think, okay, so for postgraduate work permits, so that will be after your studies. You're not applying now. So once you finish your studies, you get a letter from the school, then you'll be able to apply for your postgraduate work permit. So you're not applying now that you're going, first of all, the first thing you need to apply for is your study permit. You have your study permit, you've gotten your visa, you go to Canada, do your 1 year or your 2 year programs. Then you can apply for your postgraduate work permit while you're in Canada. So that is it. Any other questions, sir? Are there any other questions?
No, no other question. I've
Okay,
checked
sir.
all the platform.
platforms.
I've not seen any other question.
Okay, no
So
problem.
I
So if
think
there,
we've done
can round
justice
up.
to everything.
Yes.
We've been able to address all the major issues. We've been able to address the immigration aspect. We've been able to address the admission and the fees, scholarship, and every other thing. Then we've answered all the questions.
Yes.
So, Ayotola, thank you. Thank you
Thank you
for the
so much for
wonderful
having me.
presentation.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And
Thank you.
if there is any other question, please, you have our contact, admission@donishub.com.ng or the WhatsApp number +234 817 9730 You can send us a message. You can send us email. You can comment on any of this production. Then we will get back to you immediately with answers. And at the end of this presentation, we will send a link that you can listen to this presentation again. And if you have any question, you can contact us. Thank you, and thank you for making a day with us. Thank you, our able presenter. We are happy and we are grateful for all the jobs that we've done. Thank you, our participant. Thank you for spending your time with us today. And we want to say, have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful morning, have a wonderful afternoon, and bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Take care. Bye.